Are you feeling burnout after playing video games? In this video, I will discuss the common issues of video game burnout and provide you 10 tips on how to overcome them. So, without further ado,
Let's get into the
Hi and welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Vashara and this is Telplay. And in today's video, I'll be giving you 10 tips regarding how to overcome burnout. Before we move on, I will explain what exactly is burnout. So video game burnout refers to a state of mental or physical exhaustion experienced by individuals who play video games excessively or intensively for a prolonged period of time. Usually it manifests itself by loss of interest, motivation, or enjoyment in gaming activities, accompanied by symptoms such as fatigue, irritability, and decrease in performance. Video game burnout can occur to various factors, including excessive gaming sessions, repetitive gameplay, social isolation, neglect of real-life responsibilities, and lack of balance between gaming and other activities. It has a negative effect on the overall well-being and may require adjustment in gaming habits and lifestyle choices to overcome it. I personally felt burnout multiple times whenever I was playing large games, and I noticed that it's quite common for anybody who is a trophy hunter or completionist to feel this kind of way. So in today's video, I'll be talking everything about them. These are practical things that you can do and apply in your life, and there will be some tips that you'll be surprised by the end of the video. Let's get into the tips. Tip number 1 is to take breaks. The most useful tip is to take a few hours of every day away from gaming. Yep, you heard me. You need those hours just to take a little bit of breather. This helps you prevent burnout even more and rest after a long gaming session or a very long game you beaten or completed. For number 2, set limits. Establish clear boundaries on how much time you spend gaming each day. It's that simple. Stick to those limits to prevent burnout from excessive play. I tend to play no more than 2 to 4 hours a day, sometimes even less. Depends on how busy I am throughout the day. So it's important that you limit your time as much as possible, especially if you're feeling burnout more often when you're gaming. For tip number 3 is to diversify your activities. Don't let gaming consume your leisure time. Engage in other hobbies or activities that interest you, whether it's reading, exercising, or socializing. This goes to point 2 as well, where you can allocate time to game in limited sessions. For tip number 4 is to play different games. Variety is key in preventing burnout. Instead of sticking in one game or one genre, try exploring different genres and titles to keep things fresh and exciting. A good way to do this is to pre-plan your month or your quarter, the way I prefer to do it, with diversified games from your backlog or library. For number 5 is to socialize with others. Gaming with friends or family can make the experience more enjoyable and help alleviate burnout. Whether it's an online multiplayer or a local co-op, playing with others adds a social element to gameplay. If you watch some of my old videos about backlog conquering, you know I mentioned to avoid multiplayer games. But sometimes playing with your family or friends, it's super important to de-stress and stop focusing on backlogs or trophy hunting. After all, we're talking here about your mental health, and you're not running for a sprint when it comes to conquering your backlog or trying to complete every single game every single day. We're talking here about a marathon, so take things easy. If you need a break, take the break, enjoy your time, because after all, gaming with friends and gaming in general should be fun and not time consuming, burdening you, or making you feel burned out. For tip number 6 is to set goals. Give yourself specific goals or challenges within games to keep you motivated and focused. Achieving those milestones can provide you a sense of accomplishment and prevent boredom. I personally like to complete games, and I reward myself whenever I complete a large game or a small game. It does not matter. For me, it is a great satisfaction to hunt those achievements, but you find your own goals in games and make the best out of it. For tip number 7, and this is an important one, is to prioritize real life responsibilities. Yeah, you won't hear this kind of stuff coming from a gaming channel, and that's because everybody's just talking about gaming, but this is super important for you to make sure that you're balancing your gaming with your real life responsibilities such as work, school, and relationships. Neglecting these areas can contribute to burnout. At the end of the day, gaming isn't everything that requires your attention. Do not neglect what's important to survive, grow, and connect. For tip number 8, practice mindfulness. Be mindful on how gaming makes you feel. If you start feeling stressed, frustrated, or fatigued, take a step back and reassess your gaming habits. This is very important when so oftentimes as gamers we focus so much on gaming that we neglect our mental health. Gaming addiction can be a problematic thing, so please be mindful of your gaming habits. At the end of the day, you are in full control of what decisions you make. I think, in my personal opinion, it is better to be mindful of how much you spend gaming and how is gaming actually affecting you as an individual. For tip number 9 is to play different games with different lengths. To avoid burnout, especially as a completionist, you're more likely to face burnout when it comes to completing large games. Rotate and play one or more shorter burst games to regulate and de-stress. I often feel burnout after I play a very large game and I feel I need a few days to de-stress. So what I like to do is to take a little bit of my time to complete something shorter that takes a couple of hours, no more than 10 hours to fully complete. That way I feel a sense of reward and I don't feel like I'm stagnating in any other way. And for number 10, reflect on gaming preferences. Take time to reflect on what aspects of gaming brings you the most joy and satisfaction. Are there certain genres or mechanics or storytelling elements that particularly you enjoy? Tailor your gaming experience to align with your preferences to reignite your passion for gaming. What I like to do is play games for their story. I tend to switch my next game to satisfying that need if I'm playing a game that is long and focuses on gameplay and mechanics. I do the same when I play a game that is heavily focused on a story but lacks gameplay. So it's very important to switch between the type of genres or what the game is focusing on to make a really good balance between how you're playing and avoid burnouts. As a bonus, and this one goes against tip number 5, is to switch up. If you're playing multiplayer, switch up to playing single player and vice versa. So I know that this kind of contradicts the tip number 5, but if you're playing a lot of multiplayer games and you're feeling burned out by just simply repeating the same on and on or losing games too often, it is important that you switch up, play some single player, go for the story, go for the gameplay, and try out something new. Balance is key. By incorporating these gaming tips in your routine, you can prevent burnout and enjoy gaming in a healthy and sustainable way. It is important to maintain your mental and physical well-being while doing so. Don't push yourself when you're feeling not up to it. By implementing these tips, you can overcome video games burnout and rediscover your love for gaming. Thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoy this kind of content and want to see more, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and tick that notification bell so that you'll be notified every time we post something new. My name is Vashral. This has been a Tellplay guide video, and as always, stay safe, take care, and happy gaming.